Welcome to VYAPT Growth Series Season 2, Episode 25. And in our episode today, we have with us Mr. Rahul Kanodia, who is the Vice Chairman and CEO of Datamatics Global Services. Just to tell you, Datamatics is a global digital solutions and a technology company. Hi, Rahul. Welcome to VYAPT Growth Series.
Hi, thank you very much.
Rahul, in our series, we have four curiosities, and I'll take these curiosities one by one.
Sure.
And the first one is since you operate in the IT space, what are the
Mhm.
growth prospects of the industry space in which you operate, and how is it working towards a sustainable future?
So the growth prospects are very bright. Right now, we're going through this digital transformation, and whenever you have a transformation, there's disruption, and there's an opportunity at that time. If you see the quarterly results of all tech companies, they've declared very good results, very healthy top line growth as well as margins. The industry is right now rife with opportunities for digital transformation. And IT has now become core to every industry. A bank, an insurance company, a manufacturing cannot work with basic core software and technology. And therefore,
Hmm.
in many ways, it's become a core industry focused on making operations of every company more efficient. So, with
Mhm.
that in mind, I think the opportunities are boundless, and we are in a very good wicket. In terms of
Okay.
sustainability that you mentioned, I think all companies are very seized with this matter. We are focusing as Datamatics specifically on reduction of paper, going more electronic, using LED lights, and those kinds of things. Green environment, supporting any green initiatives, a lot of those activities. But at the industry overall, we are by and large not a polluting industry. The industry is fairly clean and good. It's just that it is heavy with power consumption, particularly if you do heavy computing, and that's why we're trying to use less power and be green.
Wonderful. When you talked about the first part of it about the growth of the industry,
Mhm.
what are the newer solutions which we are providing to our clients? I'm sure, as you said, that every industry today is dependent on the IT industry. What are some of the solutions which you're providing to your clients?
I think the most exciting ones are around artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence is totally transforming the way we work and the way we live, and this will permeate every transaction that we have. Every time you browse the internet, there's AI behind it. On your smartphones and watches, there's AI behind it. Every time you interact with anybody, there's an AI element behind it. Now, observing, understanding, monitoring, and then giving you prompts basis your own likes, dislikes, what have you. So this AI is becoming very pervasive, and the way it's transforming, you must have heard of Chat GPT and BART and these kinds of things. They are truly transformational, but on the more commercial, business to business engagement, also you have a lot of applications coming in the field of medicine, in the field of automotive. So I think that's something that's very exciting and is transforming the industry. Around AI is then you add analytics, you use BI, you use the cloud. You cannot do AI without cloud, so you have a cloud by default. So all of these things, mobility, are coming together in what we call digital transformation. And I think this wave will last for the next at least 5 7 years, uh, because AI has barely begun. It's got a long way to go, and many companies have a huge advantage if they leverage this technology very well.
That's rightly said, Rahul. When we talk about AI, AI is becoming a tool nowadays, wherein IT companies actually leveraging it to help in a different industry as a
Mhm.
whole. You have answered, my second question fairly in detail. But can you also talk about some of the innovations happening? You have said some of the things, but what are the innovations is happening as of now, and what are the innovations which we can expect maybe in another 2 3 years or 4 years time down the lane? And when we talk about innovations and IT industry as a big hub here in India or globally as well, what are the opportunities which we can expect not only from the Gen Z point of view, but others as well in terms of the opportunity it is creating for the masses?
So there are two interesting dynamics that play out. One is from an innovation where it's automating a lot of work.
Mhm.
So it's disrupting jobs. People effectively, you don't need so many people to do the same task. We've done
Mhm.
several projects where we've automated work. But on the flip side is that as you use AI to automate tasks, you can downstream that work to people who are less qualified. uh,
Okay.
and therefore less qualified people can do higher end work, which otherwise they could not. So now you've
Mhm.
got a new employee, and we've used this very successfully, and we move work to rural parts of India where we have people who are not well educated, and they are now working on live projects in the US because the AI is enabling them to do that kind of work. So on the one hand, a person here might lose a job, but on the other hand, a person in the village gets a new job, and that's very heartening to see that you are able to provide opportunities to, so to speak, the underprivileged segment, if you will, of
Mhm.
people who are not so well qualified who can now do very high quality work sitting in remote villages in India. So the technology that's evolving and the innovation is around how do you use data, how do you understand unstructured information, and the volume of information that's exploding in the world is mind-boggling. We create
Mhm.
187 zettabytes of data in the next few years
Mhm.
per annum. So at that volume of data, you need the ability to process it, and it's AI that is really able to process and make sense out of all this information. So you're
That's
looking at innovative applications in banking, fraud detection, insurance claims processing, what have you. I mean, we can go through the list, but it's an unending list.
wonderful. So you're talking about there's an amazing opportunities ahead, and even the marginal section of the society. When I say marginal section, people those who have not been using technology for long now, they are using technology, and even they are now part of the uh, the society which can do jobs into IT. Am I right that way?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Now we would have a little more around of curiosity in the kind of the newer generation getting into IT. What are the certain things which you would like to probably suggest, maybe a couple of things, one or two things about the curiosity of the new generation getting into IT industry?
I think the new generation needs to look at the whole area of data sciences very seriously. That's
Mm-hmm.
a huge area that's opening up very well, and there's a huge market for them, opportunities in terms of jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Understanding Python and those kinds of languages for programming, because that will
Mm-hmm.
become mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
And very importantly, focus on learning creativity.
Mm-hmm.
How do you take classes in creativity in college or in school? Because that will make a big difference in your success in career. A lot of what you otherwise do gets automated using AI,
Mm-hmm.
and this is an area where AI is not yet mature to join uh, disparate dots and make some sense out of it, or come up with some new which was unheard of. So creativity is a very key skill that I think all new the next generation needs to have for a successful career. Otherwise, their jobs will be disintermediate very soon.
Thank you, Rahul, for sharing this information with us. And we'll move on to our next curiosity. And this curiosity consists of around 10 questions, which is a part of our rapid fire
Right.
questions. Are you ready, Rahul?
Sure, sure.
So we'll go ahead with it. 10 questions to be answered. So we'll have
Hello.
10 questions each. We'll have 10 questions each, questions to be answered maximum in one word or
Sure.
a sentence. I'll start with the first one.
Hmm.
Uh, are you a cat person or a dog person? Which is
A dog,
recently?
dog person.
Okay. The second one, what is the month of, you know, maybe what's the motto of your life in, and what is that, thing which keeps you going?
I think my motto would be live and let live. Live life fully and let others or enable others to live life fully.
Wonderful. Now, the third one, if your life was a story, what would it be titled?
Inner space.
What was the last thing you watched on TV?
This was the Turkish earthquake.
Okay. What is one food you would never want to give up?
Swiss cheese fondue.
Name a song that makes you happy.
Kabhi kabhi.
Okay. मेरे दिल में ख्याल आता है.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
You got that.
Are you an optimist or a realist?
A realist.
What always makes you laugh?
Slapstick humor.
Okay. If you could make up a holiday, what would it be named?
Interstellar. That's interstellar space travel.
Ah, you watched that movie?
Yeah, I did see the movie, but that's not the reason for the news. Yeah.
What would it be if you could only take one thing with you on a deserted island? One
If
thing.
I could take one person with me, it would be my wife. If it was one item, then it would be a knife.
Wonderful. So 10 on 10 to you.
Thank you.
You played this really well. Answered in one word. Most of the answers have been in one word. Uh,
Mhm.
so now we'll move on to the final curiosity which we have around you as a leader.
Mhm.
Rahul, this particular aspect or question in
Mhm.
growth series has been watched very fondly by people across the globe
Uh-huh.
because they definitely want to learn from the leaders that what it takes to be at a position where you are or many others leaders are,
Uh-huh.
because it's been the entire journey which you all talk about. So my
Sure.
question around it is, what memorable lessons did you learn from your mentors and how it has shaped your leadership style?
Sure. I think I would reflect on two or three instances. So, one of my mentors has been my father. I've learned a
Hmm.
lot from him over the years. One example is that once I remember I just learned how to drive a car, and
Hmm.
we were in our farm in Karjat, and it was the monsoon season, and I was very excited because I just learned how to drive the car. So I was reversing. It was raining. I reversed it. I tried to bring it onto the porch, and I banged into a drum full of water. Uh,
Hmm.
and then my father told me, it's very easy to drive a car. Anybody can put it into gear and press the accelerator or press the clutch. It's about where you're going. You've got to see where you're going. And
Hmm.
I think the same thing applies in the company. It's okay to sit in the company in the chair that I am and operate the company. But question is, where are we going? What's the direction? Where next? And I think
Hmm.
that's a very important element. Otherwise, you'll end up having an accident, which could be rather damaging. So
Hmm.
that's one important lesson. The other important lesson I've learned from him, he says that nothing is impossible if you apply your mind to it, and
Hmm.
that's very, very true. So we in business, you always have challenges. There's
Hmm.
never a day that you don't have a challenge, but once you apply your mind to it, you always find a solution. And the last lesson I think would be from a professor I had when I was in the US, where she said that everybody has the ability. You have to create the environment for them, and you have to align them with their strengths. And that's very true. Today we deal with so many people. Each one has capabilities. How do you create the right environment for them to flourish, and how do you align them with their strengths so that they can deliver? And I honestly practice this regularly, and it has delivered very good results for me.
Wonderful. So you talked about three different memorable lessons. Can you also talk about your leadership style? I'm sure many of us, and this is a question that people are asking while while the conversation is still on. What kind of leadership style do you follow? May not be juggling on the seven different leadership styles, but anything which you want to say along.
I think two aspects or three aspects that stand out in my style. One is I'm a very hands-on person, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't hesitate to roll my sleeves up and jump into it if I need to. With the same breath, I give people a lot of elbow space to do their own thing, give them a lot of room. So the people have a lot of freedom. They take their own decisions, but at the same time, if there's any problem, I will not hesitate to jump in and roll my sleeves up. So that's a very interesting model where you've got a lot of freedom, but nevertheless you can have tight control at the drop of a hat. So that's a key element in that style. The other is empathy. Leading with people, dealing with people. I think you empathize and relate with them and understand the situation that they're in. That allows me to really connect with them very well, and them to connect with me. And I think that that's a style that would be a hallmark of my leadership style.
That's so wonderful, for some straight answers which you have given, Rahul. Thank you so much for being a part of this growth series, and we had this crisp and precise answers from you. And I'm sure We have learned a lot from this, and the kind of leadership style which you talked about, and the kind of other things and the industry solutions which you talked about is going to go along with us. Thank you so much for being a part of the growth series.
Thank you. Thank you.